All right. Good evening, Longhorn Nation. What an exciting game that was, right? I hear crickets chirping. That one really hurt. I mean, I don't even know how you count that game as a win. Disappointment all over. I mean, I guess at a minimum, the one thing to take away from it, or the one good thing to come out of it, is we did win. It does not go against your win-loss record. Um, but every other aspect of that game, it felt like a loss. And we can just get right into it. But everything we talked about in the previous podcast about how maybe the OU game was going to be a momentum turning type of game, carry us into this game with some positive momentum, offensive line starting to click, Arch Manning starting to see the game a little bit slower. No, none of that happened. Everything regressed back to where it was in the Florida game, and maybe even back to like the Ohio State and UTEP games, which are also very rough offensive performances. Um, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what the ceiling is of this team anymore. It does not feel like we can win more than 8 games. Vanderbilt looked great today, beat LSU at home. They're going to be licking their chops coming to Austin. Georgia is always formidable playing in Athens. There's 2 more losses on the year right there. And you still have to play Arkansas, which was pretty resilient against A&M today. A&M looks good. Um, and I mean, don't even look past Mississippi State, because I mean, we almost looked past Kentucky and look what happened there. A win in overtime, and pretty much they handed that win to us. Um, one thing I will talk about was, I made a comment in the last podcast about how Texas had to, if Texas just executes in a game like that, just executes, nothing outstanding, just executes with standard, what I would call standard processes, but standard movements, standard do your job type of activities, you win that game 99 out of 100 times. And in the rare event that Kentucky can play a perfect game, you still win that game as long as you do your job. And we, again, shoot ourselves in the foot so many times throughout these games with penalties. I mean, how many special teams penalties do we have for false starts? I thought the offensive line was doing great on penalties until the fourth quarter, and then I think we had a couple of false starts. We had a holding on Brandon Baker, and we basically tried to give up the overtime, and then we had that in the bag. But anyways, moving back to my original point, you do your job. Do your job and you win these types of games. Nobody on our team did their job. Um, Kentucky almost played a perfect game. They did exactly what they wanted to do. They doubled us in time of possession. They kept their offense on the field majority of the game. Their quarterback was like, ESPN said the stat was like 30 for 38 throwing the ball, so extremely efficient. The running backs weren't excellent on the ground, but they were productive enough to keep them in the game, keep the chains moving. I don't know what their third down completion percentage third down completion percentage was, but it seemed high. It seemed like they would convert third down after third down. Again, defense mesh concept just kills us. Third down, it's so evident what we're going to do. We're going to bring a blitz, and what they're going to do is run that mesh concept across the middle. They're going to dump it off to that person who's going to catch the ball with 3 yard gain and run for another, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 10, whatever it takes to get a first down. But let's do a little bit of recap. So, I gotta tip my hat a little bit to the defense. They got put in a tough situation today. They kept us in the game throughout. It was frustrating to watch Kentucky drive at the end of the first half and then at the end of the game to ultimately tie the game. That's when you expect your defense just to really excel. That's when our pass rush should be getting home. But again, we let them in the game. So that was the one criticism of the defense there. Forced a ton of turnover-worthy plays. I think we had Anthony Hill had an interception. And I think we forced I don't know, it felt like 3 fumbles, and I think they landed on it every single time. The one significant turnover was the turnover on downs that we created at the end of the first overtime to prevent them from getting any score in the overtime and ultimately leading us to a victory. Special teams. Special teams is great. Mason Shipley welcome to the team. Goodness gracious, you got put in a tough situation. You made 3 outstanding field goals today. One of them was a 53, 54 yarder. Another one was to take the lead in the fourth quarter, and the last one was to win the game outright. Yeah, I mean, tip your hat. Boomeister, he had a great game as well. And then Ryan Niblett, I don't know what happened, but he's just turned on the Jets. He's figured out the return game. He's really fun to watch on the special teams. Let's get into the offense because I am getting tired and I've given out too many compliments. So let's talk about how I can criticize this offense. Where do I want to start? Wide receivers still can't create space. Doesn't seem like we're giving anybody besides Wisner a chance to really run the ball. Christian Clark looked okay on a couple of runs in the game, but Wisner is still the bell cow. And I don't think he's a special player. I think he's got a ton of heart. I think he's got a lot of dog in him. But he's never going to be that guy that's really going to bust one and make somebody miss and then take it to the house. He's just not that explosive of a player. So until we get a running back in the clubhouse that's like that, I mean, we're just not going to have those extremely explosive plays. He can still give you those 5 to 10 yard runs consistently, but the Jaden Blue 75-yard house calls, and go back. I mean, Bijan Robinson did it. Keelan Robinson would do it for us. Roshan Johnson would, run 14 people over to score a touchdown. Trey Wisner's not that guy. He's good. He's not great. Wide receivers creating space. Seems like we're still off with the connection with Arch Manning. And now my favorite topic. Offensive line. Whatever confidence you built, you totally squandered it. I mean, right off the bat. I don't know what comes first, the chicken or the egg. It's like offensive line gives Arch Manning time in the pocket. Arch Manning has a terribly inaccurate throw to a wide open receiver. Incomplete pass. Or the opposite is here comes a 3, 4, 5 man pass rush, and we completely booger up the pass protection, and Arch Manning has 14 guys in his face, and he gets hit by every single one of them. And then he's got, flighty feet the rest of the game, and he just doesn't look confident anymore. So I don't know what comes first. I mean, is it confidence that your offensive line is going to block for you, or is it being able to make the throws when you actually do have time? They are definitely connected. I just don't know which one's the culprit. Maybe both of them are. But offensive line, for every step forward that you had taken versus OU, we took 1,000 steps backwards. It looked like the penalties were under control until the fourth quarter and overtime. That reared its ugly head again. The worst 3 drives that we had were the 3 offensive drives that we had right after half. I thought we were really going to be able to wear them down. We certainly have more depth than them. Typically these types of games, you expect your team to start wearing them down, beating them up, and eventually you start to get a good run game. No, we got way worse in the second half. We had no push. Arch Manning had time maybe once or twice, but the other times he was just getting absolutely mauled for the remainder of the game. So, but those 3, I mean, again, we talked about time of possession. Mark Stoops did it exactly what he wanted to do, and we fell into the trap. But offense is responsible for maintaining that time of possession. Like, you have to convert first downs in order to hold the ball. Going 3 and out 3 times in a row, which I think is what it was, is unacceptable. You're never going to have time of possession, and then your defense is just getting worn down. Offensive line looks so bad again today, especially to finish that game. Man, I don't know what we can do there. That's a tough one. And then Arch, oh goodness gracious, man, he was so efficient against OU. He was like 78% pass completions, and just took a step backwards. I mean, missed a couple of wide open wide receivers that could have led to touchdowns, or at least significant plays that could have been momentum changers. There was 3rd down passes that he missed on at the very end of the game. There was a wide open slant route that he missed through and got hammered for it. I mean, you're going to take the hit. You might as well get a completion, right? Their quarterback did it. He got smashed, but he still made some completions and made some plays to put them in a position to win the game. I mean, Arch really took a step back. And again, I don't know if it's because of his lack of confidence with the offensive line and his technique and his feet are getting all messed up and he's not trusting the game. He's rushing stuff and that makes him inaccurate. Or if he's inaccurate and, the offensive line is just a secondary issue. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's next for this team. We got to figure out something fast. Or, like I said earlier, I mean, we just need to start looking forward to 2026 because I think the ceiling of this team is becoming highly evident at this point in time, and it's very frustrating, but it feels like an 8-win team. It could be worse than that. We could easily win 2 or lose 2 more games easily left on this schedule. It could be 3 or 4. Hey, let's just hope that we're bowl eligible at the end of this one because this offense doesn't look like they can score. And offense, try to help your defense out a little bit. Keep them off the field. They're on the field for 40 minutes in regulation. So, that's pretty much all I have. Disappointing game. Felt like a loss. Felt like a loss in every single way, shape, or form. I mean, I feel like Kentucky should storm the field right now just for the sake of the mental win that they had today. The pressure they were able to put on Texas. I mean, we're not celebrating this one. This felt like a loss to us. Felt like a loss to me. I'm sure the team feels like it's a loss. We'll see. We'll see how the team regroups. Not real excited about the remainder of this season at this point in time. This is a tough one, but I guess at the end of the day, you're 5-2 now or whatever our record is. Just hope Sark and the offensive coordinators, Kyle Flood, and the rest of the offensive coaches, they have some magic and are able to get this team right-sided because it's not looking good right now. But, all right, I guess I should be somewhat happy with the win. Hook 'em. Take care.